Thanks for joining again, Erik. So for people who are just tuning in, we just had a session, Academy session not last Friday, a couple of Fridays ago with Erik. He was talking about DeFi and blockchain. So this session was quite popular. We had a lot of questions on YouTube, and we didn't have enough time to answer all of them. So I thought we'll get Erik back on to the show. Thanks for joining, Erik. And we also have Aman and Poon with us. Maybe before we get started with the Q&A, maybe Aman, you want to quickly introduce yourself? 10 seconds, 20 seconds.
Oh, I'll take 5 seconds, Janaka. Thanks a lot. The people who don't know me, try to keep the lights on, the operations, and I just keep on learning from the guru here, the DeFi guru, which we've been famously trying to bang on. So let's continue the conversation. We'll know each other more, and we'll take it up from there.
That's very modest of Aman. He's actually one of our business directors, and he's an expert in business banking domain and digital transformation, that kind of thing. So let's quickly jump on to Poon. I guess you've already heard from Poon before. He did the first Academy session for the year. Poon, very quickly, if you want to say something about yourself, 10, 15 seconds. He's also on a very choppy connection. All right, maybe let's just skip Poon. Erik, what do you say? Let's just jump right into the question.
Yeah, man. Let's get started.
Yeah. All right. Actually, the first question is from Aman. So the question was, how are crypto wallets different from digital wallets? Aman, if you want to say something very quickly, like what was the ask here?
Yeah, I think Erik touched upon it in the last Academy. He nicely touched upon the concept itself. And I think with the digital transformation across the board, especially in the region, Southeast Asia, Asia Pacific, wallet is a very looked upon space in entire digital payment ecosystem. And when we talk about wallets, crypto is something which is in everybody's mind in today's era. And I was trying to strike a balance between where it goes, along with how the regulations unfold, along with how the industry evolves, how the ecosystem evolves, and would they nicely in some form and shape overlap, or they will have their own path when we talk about crypto wallets and digital wallets. I think I was trying to just put some sense into it and learn from the experts. So maybe, Erik, you have some ideas of where you think it's going to go from here.
Well, I know we talk about it almost every morning, right? This whole space and everything, and very far from expert. But I think you bring up a couple good points. I think, like particularly regulation, right? You probably see this, but actually in India, they're trying to really ban cryptocurrency and ban Bitcoin and basically crypto in general. And my view on that is like it's really hard to actually ban crypto. Like, what does it even mean to?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Like, how does one ban cryptocurrency or wallets?
Yeah, like the only way I really see cryptocurrency being banned is if there's like a global, all the governments agree some way to ban crypto, and I think we're too far kind of to really do that. I think the only thing governments can do are to kind of ban the on-ramps and off-ramps of fiat, like putting the actual money into the system that they can ban, that they can regulate. But I mean, I would look at some countries that are a bit more forward-thinking in terms of blockchain. I think of Singapore really being one of them. I mean, they really see blockchain as one of the fundamental technologies in the future. So instead of banning it, they're constantly creating regulation around it. And will there be a time in the future where governments will tax people on their crypto holdings? Absolutely, they will. And I think that's okay from my perspective. It'll kind of have to play really nicely together. And I think on your point around the wallets, yeah, that like I it's hard for me to see a world where it's fully crypto only, right? Where everything is replaced by blockchain or crypto. It just from a technology perspective, like I think it could get there, but from a society perspective, I think it's really hard to change certain behaviors. I
Mhm.
think rather what we will see is that wallets and banks will plug into the crypto ecosystem to get some of the benefits out of it. Like if I look at PayPal, you're now able to buy and sell. Actually, you're allowed to buy and trade cryptocurrencies on their platform on PayPal. Um, but you're not really able to sell and take the fiat out yet, or you're not able to take. Sorry, you are able to take fiat out, but you cannot take crypto out into another wallet. So it's almost like a walled garden of crypto. So I think we'll just see more of that because if you look at the work that we do at Aleph, we kind of help our clients really to improve the way users interact with banking products, but are we fundamentally changing banking products? Less so. Whereas that is what the crypto ecosystem is trying to do.
Mm.
So if you combine both, like that's really powerful. Another good example is this company called ECO. It's like a neobank that's launching in the US. They are not mentioning crypto at all, but actually everything under the hood is crypto. So you can check it out. I think it's eco.com or yeah, eco.com. So
And I
it's
think, Eric, you nicely bring in a
yeah,
touch. I think there's something new,
yeah,
and I think everybody is embracing that and moving forward uh, with that. And I think it's the experience which will also matter a lot
yeah.
as it becomes more seamless, as it becomes more acceptive. Uh, it'll become a new norm in some form and shape.
I want,
Absolutely, I agree. Sorry, go ahead, Jenica.
you go ahead. I want to touch on something adjacent that you brought up. Maybe you can finish up first.
Yeah, no. So a- I think that's why I'm excited about our role as Aleph within the ecosystem, right? Because what do
Mm.
we do is we very much focus on cracking the usability space, right? How do we bring retail into the space when it is a fundamentally different way of interacting with finance? And I think what's really interesting is that um, like when people start trying to use decentralized finance, start trying to use crypto, it feels very different. So it feels bad. But kind of I think what people don't realize yet is that instead of it DeFi being a better car, what they're actually interacting with is an airplane. So it's something really different, and so people feel confused. But once we are able to bridge that, like it'll just take off. That's my sense. Yeah.
And what I was going to say was, if you think a couple of years ago, like how one would set up a wallet, it was very difficult, not easy.
Yeah.
But now you find MetaMask and concept of seed phrases are there. So a lot of the things like private keys, public keys have been abstracted out. So it's much easier for someone to get. So on that, do you think there's something like what's like the next thing that will improve the or drive the adoption of let's say cryptocurrency or the blockchain? If you stick within the space of wallets, is it already good enough the way the things are designed, the way the user experience is designed?
No, I mean, if I'd have to think of or like what the two things that come to mind, one is, and the pure crypto guys won't like this, but is to centralize the key management. And like if DBS holds your Bitcoin and you still just log in with your username and password, whatever it is, in your 2FA, and they take care of your keys, whatever, you still own crypto. but for the regular user, it's much easier. And that's what's happening with PayPal, right? They hold your crypto, but it's you save your own username and password. So I think that already makes kind of a big jump. If I look at kind of pure play crypto ways to solve it, there's a lot of experimentation going around on social recovery. So if you lose your keys, that the people around you, if they vouch for you, that you can get your wallet back. So there's kind of experimentation going around like that. There's some kind of really far-fetched stuff around linking your keys to biometrics. So it's what I love about this space is that there are a lot of people and a lot of teams trying to solve these issues because it's permissionless. So eventually it will get better. But those are the two spaces that I see some kind of improvement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm one of those people who's anti pure crypto people. I remember I made an account with Binance, and there's an option to manage your own keys. So I did that about 5 years ago. I was buying IOTA or something like that. But now I lost all my keys and I don't know. I can't recover them.
Exactly.
So,
But on this, this is a very interesting thought. On one side, we're talking about a very controlled fiat currency and a medium which is very regulated. On the other side, we're talking about a concept coming about Defiance. I'm just trying to put my head together, and Erik, this is where I think we've had a lot of conversations. I think let's brainstorm a little bit on this. That when we talk about the Defiance being regulated, we again playing with the ethos of how we have given the concept a way which has come through from a crypto perspective. So how does it marry together in that space? So on one side, we're also talking that at one stage, it might become regulated, it might become tax-oriented, everybody should be able to hold it in some regulated form. Then how, if that happens, the entire concept of DeFi, how does it differentiate itself from the norm of the existing world?
I think that's a really good question, and my view is that it will blend together, and I guess one way to look at it is at the kind of the rise of the internet. Like when the internet came up, like there was a lot of hackers, there was a lot of like also nefarious stuff happening on the internet, and perhaps at that time there was also this thought of does it stay kind of pure play separate? What type of regulation do we apply to the internet? And regulation over time has evolved to kind of like make sure nothing too bad happens, but give it a lot of space so that a lot of innovation can happen. I mean, we talked about it in the last one. Actually, like e-commerce in the broad sense was illegal on the internet in the beginning. There were regulations against it.
speaking of illegal, Poon just joined us. It looks like he's up to something no good.
I am up to something no good. I'm in commute. Sorry about just now, guys.
That's right.
No worries, man. We're talking about kind of like regulation in crypto. So I think just to finish off that thought, Aman, to your point, some parts of it will need to be regulated. And again, the pure crypto people won't like it when I say that. I think, but for it to have a space in normal society, in meat space, it is. I think it will be regulated, but it will evolve. I'll give you another example. When airplanes were first invented, right? Land rights, when you owned a piece of land, extended infinity up to the sky, right? I thought this when I heard this was really interesting. So when airplanes first started, the routes of the airplanes were zigzagging across the country because they had to buy rights for each plot of land to cut from, let's say, from New York to LA, right? Then regulation said, okay, if you own the rights to the land, if you own the land, you only own it up to a certain height. Anything above that is government space, and airplanes can fly through. So we're gonna hit a lot of these roadblocks where regulation feels stifling, but it will evolve. It just takes a long time.
Very interesting.
Cool. So let's change the speed a bit. Talk about specifically Ethereum and Bitcoin. There was one question about, I think, directed at Erik. What's your view on Ether 2.0?
Love it.
Oh, you're asking the guy just on the day who he believes too much in it.
But
It's like
Look at what he's wearing. Look at what he's wearing.
Look, last week Aman asked me. Last week Aman asked me, "How many of those T-shirts do you have?" Like kind of judgmentally, right? So yeah, I have one, but I do wash it often. No, it's really, yeah. I think it's good. A couple things about it for those who don't know. It moves from proof of work to proof of stake, so it probably solves a lot of the environmental FUD that's out there, questions that is out there. It moves from an inflationary crypto asset to deflationary. What that basically means is there will be less Ether over time because Ether is burnt in every transaction, which is good for the security of the network, but it's also good for token holders because it becomes more valuable. I think it also kind of increases throughput of transactions per second, so it just makes it more scalable as a network. So mostly it's all good things. I guess the big question is when will it actually launch, right? That's kind of always the big question with 2.0.
It's been coming for some time, right? How long has it been since it's been announced?
I think so Ethereum 2.0 is I think it's about a 2-year from from start to finish launch project. The start of it was supposed to start sometime early 2019, if I remember correctly, and we've just started the process of 2.0 sometime late last year. So it's delayed, but Janaka, as an engineer, you should know that engineering projects.
It's okay, Janaka. I take it for you. Look at the way Erik made it. We are working towards it. Like Erik is so invested into it.
100%. 100%.
Come this day. Love that too.
Absolutely.
It'll work. So let's try something fun. What are your thoughts on Dogecoin, Aman, Poon, Erik, all four of you? It's something that it's a silly thing, but whenever Bitcoin prices skyrocket, everything, like even Dogecoin goes up. What do you guys think about that?
Actually, not just Dogecoin. I think if you look at one of the ways the Bitcoin price, whether we call it inflates and it moves, all the other currencies just follow a pattern, obviously in a different structure, different perspective. I have no views. I think Dogecoin is something which is very new. There's a lot of giveaways which are happening for Doge, if I'm not wrong.
Fake news.
Fake news. Okay, let's hear from the
Don't click that link.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here, right?
Yeah.
I call it doggy coin. I have some association with.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Am I pronouncing it right?
I don't know.
I believe it's Dogecoin.
Dogecoin.
The icon looks a little bit like of a dog. The icon looks a bit like a dog, and for some reason, in my very small wallet, I've got some Doge coins.
Yeah. So
I don't know where that's from.
No.
It came free. It came free for you. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of a giveaway happening. Good, just grab it.
No. So this is okay. A couple points that I find kind of interesting about Dogecoin, although I'm not a big Dogecoin guy. But so this it's called an airdrop, Poon, when someone just randomly drops things into your wallet. Besides Dogecoin, I've got a couple random coins in there as well, because what it allows is people to say, look how many wallets have Dogecoin inside. So you can kind of inflate the usage numbers, right? So that's one way, because what you'll have is maybe like 3 cents worth of Dogecoin or like 8 cents worth of Dogecoin. It's a really tiny amount, right? So that's what's happening there. But I think, look, Dogecoin was created as a joke. Let's not forget that. Some guy in San Francisco, when this whole Bitcoin space was happening, said, "Oh, this is all fake money. Let me create my own fake money," and he created Dogecoin. That's how it started. Now, what I find kind of interesting is if you think about Bitcoin and people say it's based on nothing, that's correct. It's only based on our collective belief that it's worth something. That's Bitcoin. And I think what Dogecoin does is it amplifies that even further. Like, it's just lots of people trying to tell everyone Dogecoin means something. It actually should have value. And Elon Musk is actually one of the people that tries to do that. And I think he does it more as kind of like a thought experiment than anything else. But in some way, Dogecoin kind of hits at a really hard truth of Bitcoin, in my view.
All right. Okay, let's get to what Erik has been waiting for. Let's talk about NFTs. This is something really new to me. I know very little about NFTs. Erik, maybe you can just like give a quick intro about what an NFT is.
Yeah, sure. So before the intro, I just want to give a shout out to Poon. He kind of planted this idea that this might be something in my head before I even knew what an NFT was. But after he planted this in my head, I did some digging around. So, well, we got lots of questions for Poon later as well. Our creative genius, Poon. So NFT stands for non-fungible token. Fungible means the ability to be like recreated or to be changed. So this is a non-changeable token. So if you think about, let's say, Bitcoin, if Aman has one Bitcoin, I have one Bitcoin, we can exchange our Bitcoins and the value will be the same. A non-fungible token, that's not the case. It's very singular, right? It's a one singular item. So in the last couple weeks, there's been a lot of noise around non-fungible tokens. A lot of non-fungible token sales have been going out in the market. And just last week, an artist called Beeple, Beeple, worked together with Christie's to sell, I think it's like called like 5,000 days, something like that, his NFT. And it was the third highest sale by a living artist of any art piece of all time at 69 million US dollars, right? So it kind of put the whole art world on its toes, on the tip of its seats, like what is this actually? So it's there's just a lot of buzz around NFTs right now. I think it's a really interesting space for many different reasons, but maybe before we get into that, like that's basically what an NFT is. It's a digital good. It can be an image, can be video, can be whatever that is unique, right? Yeah.
Is this? Let's check with Aman. Like, is this a bubble? Like, is this something? Is this the next like fad that's going around? It just became popular purely because Bitcoin prices are soaring. Is this just another bubble? Would you also?
I think not. For the fact that it can sell for that price, I don't think it's a bubble. I think what it actually does is it solves this technology NFT, right? Solves a big problem that that we face. It's called counterfeit goods. Uh, and the fact that I can now make something digital, not counterfeit. I think this means a lot to the fake goods side of the world. So I think it's there. It solves a purpose. It serves a purpose. And for me, interestingly enough, if we apply this to the many things that I love, designer goods, then I would know that I would be rest assured that whatever I'm buying is the real deal, by the real person. So I love this thought.
Thoughts, Aman?
I thought you'll never ask me, Janika. I wanted to dodge this. Dodge.
Doge.
Don't coin for you.
See, I earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think. Yeah, no, I think if I were to just hijack from Haman for a second, and I think this like use case that Poon mentioned about counterfeit goods, yeah, I think that's kind of a brilliant starting use case. I think that's kind of the foundational use case, but I think I'm more excited about what can come afterwards when you start marrying things with DeFi, right? Like like if you think about taking a digital good, making it non-fungible and putting it out in the market. So let's say it's a picture of Poon. He puts that in the market. Aman bids $100 for it, or let's say he bids like 1 Bitcoin for it. Then in that marketplace, that digital good is now worth 1 Bitcoin. If Poon does not sell it to Aman, it still retains its value of 1 Bitcoin. Now Poon has something that even though he hasn't sold it, it's worth 1 Bitcoin. And if you think about the conversation we had last year around decentralized finance and the composability, the Lego blocks, now can Poon take this one item, which is valued at 1 Bitcoin or whatever, and do something with it, like get loans with it, or can he lend it out to someone? So there's a lot of like interplay, or there's a lot of things that can kind of happen as this goes along. And there's this great thinker in the crypto space. His name is Balaji Srinivasan. I hope I got his name right. Balaji, I just know him as Balaji. That's his Twitter handle. And he basically played out this idea of, if everything can be tokenized and has a value, then we almost revert back to an age where we can barter in real time. So your items have value, and it's such a fluid exchange of value on the network without having to go in and out of currencies, even, right? Now, again, do I know what that means for us? I'm not sure, but there's such interesting thought experiments that kind of go into it. And a lot of people are experimenting in that space with NFC. Maybe I want to mention a couple examples as well. Like Jack Dorsey took the first tweet that he put on Twitter and put it on a platform to sell it as an NFT, saying someone can buy this tweet. And the tweet was, setting up my Twitter account. It's sold or is selling or is valued at 2.5 million US dollars. So someone is willing to pay 2.5 million US dollars to own that tweet. And you ask yourself, why would someone pay that for that? And this is what's kind of beautiful about NFTs. It makes the conversation not just about money or finance, but it starts moving it into the cultural space as well, the emotional space, where, okay, why might you want to do that? You have the first tweet ever sent out, like there's some certain value to that. It's minted by Jack Dorsey, so it has a provenance, right? The artist is Jack Dorsey. It kind of matters. And so there's just a lot of interesting thought of experiments to have.
Here's where I have a question. Like, this is again a kind of a place where you need to bridge with the physical world. How does authentication, like how does one check whether it was actually Jack Dorsey's tweet, or like I could have done it too if I have access to the tweet? Like, how does that work? I don't really understand.
Yeah, so that's why NFTs, it doesn't just matter what was tokenized, it matters who tokenizes it. I'll take it to the example of, there's this company called NBA Top Shots. The creators of Crypto Kitties, I think it's called Dapper Labs. They are working with the NBA, so the National Basketball Association, to take clips of famous kind of moments of the NBA, tokenize them as moments on the thing. Now, we could do that as well. We could take YouTube videos of an NBA slam dunk and tokenize it and say, this is now valuable, we'll sell it. But no one will buy it because who are we to do that? You know, and in some sense, it's the same with you, Jenica. If you were to take Jack Dorsey's tweet and say now it's tokenized, the provenance is you, not Jack Dorsey. So people wouldn't pay for it. Yes, you can do it. So
I could pretend to be Jack Dorsey, or I could pretend to be Poon and say I created this artwork.
You could in the case of this tweet thing, the only way that you could do it is if you hacked Jack Dorsey's Twitter account and then you link that tweet from Jack Dorsey's Twitter account and you tokenize it. So then people could think it's Jack Dorsey. But if you're an outsider, just grab his tweet and tokenize it, they'll see that it's you and not Jack Dorsey, if you will.
Okay. I think
I love the way Janaka's engineering mind is challenging the fascination which is happening around.
Yeah. So on that, like you said, NFTs is the whole thing is about maintaining the uniqueness. But would you say that I could just make copies of it? Doesn't that like kind of defeat the purpose, and I can distribute it? So like this is where I have trouble understanding. Because if you're talking about digital art, right? So I can still make copies out of it and distribute it.
Yeah. I think the mental model that I would have when looking at this kind of aligns with what Poon was discussing before around counterfeit. Is that the NFT tokenization, see it more as the signature at the bottom of the painting, not the painting itself. In a way, you could completely repaint the Mona Lisa in exactly the way it was painted before.
Mm-hmm.
You could look at it and it looks exactly like the Mona Lisa, the original Da Vinci Mona Lisa, right? But it's still not the real one. So in the art world, there are experts that are paid to be the blockchain, that are paid to check the provenance, the history of the piece. Where did it come from? Is it real? In the digital world, that will be replaced by the blockchain. But I mean, what's interesting, what's happening in the NFT space right now is that there are art projects going out on one blockchain, and exactly to your point, there are other teams that come out, take exactly that art and mint it on another blockchain, on Binance blockchain or whatever. And to an unassuming person, you wouldn't be able to tell. But kind of the layer there is what people are saying is you would check the timestamp. Whatever was first is the original, and on the blockchain you don't need an expert to approve that. It's just there, right? So yeah, but it's interesting questions. Yeah.
Let's throw something out to Aman. Would you buy a digital piece of art on an NFT token, something like that?
Janaka, you won't leave me. I was just trying to be a little patient and not counter any of these productive, imaginative thoughts.
This goes back to kind of user experience as well, right? How do I consume one? Like where do I buy one? Is this stuff that is popular enough?
Yeah. Yes, and I think I see it in another view from where I see from my narrow knowledge and understanding, because I think from NFT perspective, if you look at a concept, and that's how the retail space is. There's online, there's certain things which you can buy. There's you go back auctions, you can just go back and bid that, and there's luxury. I think I don't know if I'm doing justice by even saying that. I don't know too deep, but I also feel that there is a concept of this luxury art, procurement, investment, everything which comes together. Now, if you ask me in today's age, to your question, Aman, would you buy a digital art? I think I would rather stick to a physical art, have it up my wall, enjoy it, keep it there. But who would do it? I think yes. Once you're in that stage, maybe that's how I perceive in my mind. But maybe Poon has some ideas and thoughts.
Yeah. I was actually going to buy one. Actually, there is this website called Sedition. I think it's sedition.art, and they have beautiful pieces. I think the difference that it gives against a physical piece is that you can finally have moving art, right? That you can put on your beautiful frameless television that's mounted on the wall, and that art
Absolutely.
changes from time to time. So I'm absolutely
Yeah.
in the market of buying one. I was looking at a few of them from Sedition. They are not NFTs, I think, yet, but they are. I don't know how they do it, but they are legitimate copies. And for example, artist A could sell only that piece for 50 times. But
So that's
I'm
actually
fascinated.
true. That's very true. In fact, I think Erik here holds one of the masterpieces. He has that television where you can just have a digital art there. So that's the frame.
Yeah,
So
the Samsung, the
yes,
frame. Yeah.
maybe yes, you can use that in a lot of forms. So possibly yes, you're right.
And actually,
So,
just to grow on that, I think the channels are expanding. So if you look at an LG TV, right, that you buy, this Sedition art thing is a built-in app. If I'm not wrong, it's already built in as an app over there. So the the channels are rising, and which means that uh, people will buy because they have somewhere to post it.
And that's where it ties back again. If we, one is a channel, second is adoption, and third is the experience. I think adoption is the key. If the experience is right, if we've got the material, if we've got the channels, I think there is a possibility, yes, even one day I will buy it.
And if you look at the trend of the rise of the digital screens, right, day by day, digital screens are in exponential rising, right? There are more people with digital screens, which means there are more spaces that I can hang my art in. So there's big opportunity there. And
Oh,
physical
Janaka,
spaces are getting less and less.
would you buy it?
I think I'm still quite skeptic. This is another question to put because he's the artist here. This is slightly off topic, but I was going to ask, like, do you think all this is art in the wrong direction? Because I'm a person who prefers to have art in its physical form, and do you think NFT enables the distribution of digital art? Is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing?
Why not have both? I think that's the question. Why not have both?
Why not have both? Yeah,
Ooh,
that's a good point.
greedy guy, greedy guy.
Would, absolutely. You're asking the wrong guy, Janaka. See everything.
How can I do one NFT, like, and tag it against two things, and when the physical one expires, which eventually it will, I can renew it
So,
or repair
so
it.
no, I think this brings a great point. I love this conversation, but so about a physical thing disappearing, there was this art collective that bought an actual Banksy. You guys know Banksy, the artist from London. They bought an actual physical Banksy. They minted it, so they tokenized it. They created an NFT of a video of that Banksy, right? And then they sold that. I might be getting the sequence slightly wrong. They sold it, so they bought the Banksy for like I don't know, let's say $100,000. Then they burnt the Banksy, but the NFT stayed. That NFT went for like triple the price of what they actually bought the Banksy for. So it just, like, yes, the market is frothy. There are crazy people that are spending too much money on strange things, but there's just this, like, this is something so new and different that it's wild that someone would pay for that moment of a Banksy being burnt. So to your point, Poon, about does the NFT still exist if the physical good is gone? I guess in this case, yeah, it does, and someone owns that NFT of the video of the physical good being burnt. Yeah. But you guys were bringing up a couple things that I wanted to hit on, like buying digital goods. I remember when apps first came out. That kind of shows my age a little bit, or all our age a little bit.
Not me.
And people were like,
Not you,
yeah, not
me.
you. but when people were like, oh really, you would pay for an app? I don't know if you guys remember, but when apps first came out, mobile apps, people felt uncomfortable paying for an app. They wanted all apps to be free. And now think about it, you sometimes pay like $10 a month for certain applications, right? So the way we interact with digital good has changed. And I think Aman, maybe a bit closer to home, I'm sure you have someone in the household who plays Roblox. And Roblox, you can buy basically virtual
Oh
currency
man.
Robux
Oh man.
inside of Roblox, and you can buy digital goods.
You're not too far,
So
Erik. Just one
the
more year. You will be spending on it. I am definitely spending on it, forcefully spending on it. Truth.
so in that generation, or the younger generation, to buy digital goods, whether it's in gaming like a certain skin or armor, like it's absolutely normal. And so if that happens to be an NFT, then fantastic. So yeah.
So, in the interest of time, we gotta wrap things up as well. Let's do a round of each of us, either NFT or crypto. Okay, let's stick to NFT. We spoke about art. What else can we do with it other than art? Let's maybe do a room check. Let's go with Poon first.
I think identities. Some of us hold multiple identities over here. In-game identities, real-life identities, and I think even in games, people steal identities. In real life, people steal identities. So if you were to play, the last game I played was a Diablo game, right? And I had a character, and sadly, right now I have lost that character, and I don't know how to get it back. I think with the power of NFT, by hook or by crook, I can go and key in some key somewhere and find back my character, and that character would be in the same spot of the game where I left him. I would assume that NFT would empower me to get that character back. And I think as a use case, how many people in the world has lost their gaming characters? Plenty. Uh, these things are stolen on a day-to-day basis.
Interesting.
That's my use
Aman,
case.
you?
Yeah, I was just thinking, as Poon was saying, the way I see NFT, I think it's a digital footprint of digital tokens. The space and the use cases where that concept is already slowly maturing, and I think the use cases are countless. I tie it back to that digital stamp because from there it gets used as one medium, which is the concept of NFT, which is expanding. So I think from that digital footprint and digital tokens, the possibilities are endless for sure. So I wouldn't put on something that this is where it's going to go.
Let's go with you.
Let's
Erik.
go to our.
Awesome, man. I won't keep it at one. So I think yeah, I think a couple things. One is I love the fact that it's giving power back to the artist because it is disintermediating, right? It's taking out the middleman. Even a musician right now, they earn like cents on Spotify unless you're in the very top. So like, is there a space where it gives power back to the creator, the artist? I think that's really fun. That's really great. Then I think, okay, I'll finish up on this one, which is that it marries back to DeFi, the composability. Like right now, we're looking at doing things we are currently doing better. So taking art, making it easier to track whether it's real or not, making it easier to sell, and making it better for the creator. But what is the next wave? What will we be able to do with an NFT that holds value, like when it integrates with all the other parts of DeFi? Like if you work with the auction houses right now and you buy a $100 million piece of art, the next thing that you do once you have it is, hey, you now own a $100 million piece of art. do you want to borrow from us $100 million for 1 or 2 cents per year because it's collateralized against the painting? Now, it's only currently possible at things that are of very high value. But with DeFi, you can take something that's like worth maybe $1,000 of art and collateralize it and do something with it in the finance space as well. So I think that's the part where I think things can get really, really interesting.
Interesting. So for me, okay, like I said, NFTs is quite new to me. I don't really get the concept yet. But I was wondering, like, software piracy used to be a big thing, right? Is there something that NFTs could do to like naturally prevent software piracy and to authenticate who owns this piece of software? Something like anyway, that's my space, right? So I had to say something about software, right? So yeah, thanks a lot for being here with us, Erik, Aman, and Poon. Really appreciate your time. We're out of time, and also my MacBook battery is dying, so we really need to go. Yeah, so for the viewers, if you enjoy content like this, check out the other videos on our YouTube channel. Always don't forget to like and subscribe. Yeah.